The wind in the demon realm did not just blow, it screamed. It sounded like 1,000 people crying in a cave. Kakarot walked through a storm of black sand. The sand was sharp. It cut his skin like tiny glass knives. But Kakarot did not stop. He did not cover his face. He let the sand cut him. He wanted to feel the pain. The pain kept him awake. The pain reminded him that he was alive. He had been walking for 3 weeks since Malik died. He had not slept much. He had not eaten much. The black crystal Malik gave him was tied around his neck with a piece of leather. It felt warm against his chest. It was the only warm thing in this cold, dark world. Kakarot looked at his hands. They were dirty and covered in dried purple blood. It was not his blood. It was the blood of a swamp lizard he killed 2 days ago. He remembered the taste of the lizard. It was sour. It made his stomach hurt, but he ate it anyway. He had to eat. His Saiyan body burned energy very fast. If he did not eat, he got weak. In the demon realm, if you are weak for 1 second, you die. He looked up at the sky. The red sun was hidden behind thick grey clouds. Lightning flashed inside the clouds. It was purple lightning. It did not hit the ground. It just crawled across the sky like a spider web. "I am close," Kakarot whispered. His voice sounded rusty. He had not spoken to anyone in weeks. He climbed up a tall ridge of rock. The rock was slippery with slime. He dug his fingers into the stone. His fingernails were hard and black now, like claws. He pulled himself up. When he reached the top, he saw it. In the middle of a giant crater, there was a temple. It was not built of stone. It looked like it was built of shadows. It was pitch black. It absorbed the light. The walls were tall and spiked. There was no door, just a giant mouth shaped like a demon's skull. Green fire burned in the eyes of the skull. The Shadow Temple. Malik had talked about this place. He said it was where the old demon kings were buried. He said it was full of traps and ghosts. He said only a master could enter. Kakarot stood up straight. He adjusted his pants. He tightened his belt. He felt fear in his stomach. It felt like a cold stone, but he pushed it down. He replaced the fear with anger. He was angry at the world. He was angry at Malik for dying. He was angry at the parents he never knew for leaving him here. He jumped down from the ridge. He landed in the crater with a heavy thud. The ground cracked under his boots. He walked toward the skull mouth. The closer he got, the colder it became. The air was freezing. His breath came out in white puffs. Frost formed on his bare chest. "Stop." The voice was not loud. It was inside his head. It sounded like 2 rocks grinding together. Kakarot stopped. "Who said that?" he shouted. "I am the gatekeeper," the voice said. From the ground in front of the temple, a shape rose up. It was made of the black sand. It formed a body. It was 10 feet tall. It had no legs, just a swirling pillar of sand. It had 4 arms. In each hand it held a sword made of black ice. It had no face, just a smooth, blank surface. "Turn back, mortal," the gatekeeper said. "This is a place for the dead. You are warm. You have a heartbeat. You do not belong here." Kakarot clenched his fists. "I have a key." He held up the black crystal. The crystal glowed with a faint red light. The gatekeeper did not move. "The key gives you the right to open the door. It does not give you the right to live. You must prove you are worthy to hold the key." Kakarot dropped the crystal back against his chest. He got into his fighting stance. He bent his knees. He put his left hand forward and his right hand back. He barred his teeth. "Fine," Kakarot said. "I needed a warm-up anyway." The gatekeeper moved. It was fast, faster than the wind. It swung 2 of its ice swords at Kakarot's head. Kakarot ducked. He felt the cold air of the blades pass over his hair. He punched the sand creature in the stomach. His fist went right through the sand. It felt like punching water. The creature didn't even flinch. It swung its other two swords. One of them grazed Kakarot's arm. It cut deep. Blood sprayed out. The blood froze instantly in the cold air. Kakarot jumped back. He looked at his arm. The wound was numb. The ice sword had frozen his nerves. Physical attacks don't work, Kakarot thought. It is made of sand. I have to blow it away. He cupped his hands together. He started to charge a blast. Purple light gathered in his palms. The gatekeeper did not wait. It spun around like a tornado. It became a whirlwind of black sand and ice blades. It moved toward Kakarot. The sound was deafening. It sounded like a freight train. Kakarot fired the blast. Take this. The beam of energy hit the tornado. There was a loud explosion. Sand flew everywhere. But the tornado did not stop. It cut right through the energy beam. Kakarot's eyes widened. What? The tornado hit him. It was like being thrown into a blender. Kakarot was tossed around. The ice swords cut him all over. His chest, his back, his legs. He screamed. He could not find his footing. He was spinning and bleeding. He was thrown out of the tornado. He landed hard on the frozen ground. He rolled and stopped against a rock. He tried to get up. He couldn't. His body was covered in cuts. He was shivering. The cold was getting into his bones. Is this it? Kakarot thought. Am I going to die here, outside a door? He remembered Malik. He remembered the demon ape. He remembered the feeling of power when he fought Shula. No, he growled. He forced himself to stand. His legs shook. Blood dripped onto the black ice. The sand creature formed again. It stood tall. It looked down at him. You are weak, the gatekeeper said. Your soul is fragile. Kakarot laughed. It was a wet, bloody laugh. My soul? You don't know anything about my soul. He closed his eyes. He stopped trying to use his muscles. He stopped trying to use his anger. He focused on the heat, the Saiyan heat inside his chest, the fire that never went out. He imagined the fire growing. He imagined it burning his blood. He imagined it melting the ice. He opened his eyes. They were not just black anymore. They flashed with that yellow light again. The wrath. He did not cup his hands this time. He just opened his mouth. He roared. It was the roar of the Uzaru. A massive wave of energy exploded from his body. It wasn't a beam. It was a dome of heat. The frost on his chest melted instantly. The ground around him sizzled. The gatekeeper stepped back. It raised its swords. Kakarot charged. He didn't punch. He tackled the creature. His body was surrounded by a red and purple aura. The heat was intense. When he hit the sand didn't flow around him. It turned to glass. The heat was so high it melted the sand into glass. The gatekeeper shrieked. It was a sound of pure agony. Kakarot burned through the creature. He grabbed the core of the monster. Inside the sand there was a blue stone. The heart. Kakarot grabbed the blue stone. It was freezing cold, but his hand was burning hot. The stone cracked. Shatter, Kakarot yelled. He crushed the stone. The sand creature fell apart. It turned into a pile of lifeless black dust. The ice swords melted into water. Kakarot stood there, panting. Steam rose from his body. His wounds were cauterized by his own energy. He was in pain, but he was alive. The giant skull mouth of the temple groaned. The jaw opened slowly. Darkness spilled out. Kakarot walked forward. He walked into the dark. Meanwhile, in a very different world, the sky on earth was blue. The clouds were white and fluffy. Birds were singing. But Bulma Briefs was not happy. She was terrified. She was 16 years old. She had blue hair and a pink dress. She was smart. She was rich. But right now, she was lost in the bamboo forest. She was driving her motorcycle. The engine was sputtering. She was low on gas. "Stupid bike," Bulma shouted. She hit the handlebars. "Why did I leave the city? I should be in my room inventing things. I should be eating strawberries." She looked at the dragon radar in her hand. It was beeping. There was a Dragon Ball nearby. "It says it is right here," she muttered. She stopped the bike. She was in a clearing. There was an old, small hut nearby. It looked abandoned. Maybe someone lives there. Maybe they have gas or food. She got off the bike. She took her capsule case. She pulled out a small gun. It was a submachine gun. She was a city girl, but she knew the world was dangerous. "Hello," she called out. "Is anyone home?" There was no answer. The wind rustled the bamboo leaves. Suddenly, a net fell from the sky. Ah! Bulma screamed. The net trapped her. She dropped her gun. She fell to the ground. She struggled, but the net was heavy. It was made of steel wire. "Got her," a squeaky voice said. 3 figures jumped out of the bushes. The first one was a small blue imp. He wore a hat that looked like a rice bowl. This was Emperor Pilaf. The second was a dog in a ninja outfit. This was Shu. The third was a tall woman with a long hair and a military coat. This was Mai. "Who are you?" "Let me go," Bulma yelled. She kicked at the net. Pilaf laughed. He walked over to her. He picked up the dragon radar she had dropped. "Look at this, Mai," Pilaf said. "It is a device to find the Dragon Balls. This girl is a spy." Mai saluted. "Good work, Emperor. Should we interrogate her?" Pilaf looked at Bulma. He looked at her purple hair. He looked at her scared face. "Yes, take her to the castle. She might have a Dragon Ball on her." Shu grabbed the net and dragged Bulma. "Hey, watch the dress," Bulma cried. "Someone help. Help me." She screamed as loud as she could. In the original history, a boy named Goku would have heard her. He would have been dragging a giant fish nearby. He would have jumped in and saved her. But there was no Goku. Goku was millions of light years away, bleeding in a dark temple. There was only silence in the forest. "No one is coming to save you, little girl," Pilaf cackled. "The world belongs to me." They threw Bulma into the back of a truck. They drove away. Dust covered the clearing. The bamboo swayed. The birds stopped singing. Back in the demon realm, Kakarot was inside the shadow temple. It was darker than night inside. He couldn't see his own nose. He had to rely on his other senses. He smelled old paper. He smelled incense. He heard the sound of water dripping. He walked forward slowly. His footsteps echoed. The floor was cold stone. "Welcome," a voice whispered. This voice was different from the gatekeeper. It was old. It sounded tired. Kakarot stopped. "Show yourself." A blue flame appeared in the air. It lit up the room. The room was huge. It was a library. There were shelves that went up hundreds of feet. The shelves were filled with scrolls and books made of metal. In the center of the room, sitting on a floating cushion, was a ghost. He was translucent. He looked like an old demon. He had 3 eyes. He had a long white beard that touched the floor. He wore robes that flowed like water. "I am the keeper of secrets," the ghost said. "My name is Wispy." "Wispy?" Kakarot frowned. "That is a stupid name." The ghost sighed. "I did not choose it. My mother did. Do not be rude." Kakarot walked closer. "Malik sent me. He gave me this key." He showed the black crystal. Wispy adjusted his glasses. "Ah, Malik. The ambitious one. Is he dead?" "Yes," Kakarot said. "I thought so," Wispy said. "He always tried to punch above his weight class. And now you are here, a mortal boy." with a tail. Wispy floated down. He circled Kakarot. He looked at him closely. You are a Saiyan, Wispy said. I have read about your kind. Barbaric space monkeys. You serve Frieza, do you not? Kakarot spat on the floor. I serve no one. Frieza killed my people. Oh. Wispy looked interested. A rogue monkey. How delightful. And you want to learn the dark arts? I want to be strong, Kakarot said. I want to be the strongest. I want to kill Dabura. Wispy choked. He coughed. Kill Dabura? You? He laughed. He laughed so hard he turned pink. Oh, that is rich. A boy wants to kill the Demon King. Dabura would turn you into a cookie and eat you. Teach me, Kakarot said. He was serious. He did not think it was funny. Wispy stopped laughing. He saw the look in Kakarot's eyes. It was a look of pure will. Very well, Wispy said. If you want to die, I will help you speed up the process. Malik wanted you to learn the Void Step and the Demon Flash. Correct? Yes. These are not easy moves, Wispy said. The Void Step requires you to tear a hole in space with your own body. If you mess up, you will be cut in half. One half of you will be here. The other half will be in the nightmare dimension. I don't care, Kakarot said. And the Demon Flash, Wispy continued. It uses your life force. It mixes your ki with the dark magic of this realm. If you use it too much, it will eat your soul. You will become a mindless beast. I'm already a beast, Kakarot said. Wispy nodded. Good. Then let us begin. The training started immediately. There was no rest. First was the Void Step. Wispy drew a circle on the floor with chalk. Stand here, Wispy said. Now feel the space around you. Do not look at it. Feel the fabric of reality. It is like a curtain. You must find the seam in the curtain and step through it. Kakarot closed his eyes. He tried to feel the air. He felt nothing but cold. He tried to step forward. He just walked out of the circle. Wrong, Wispy yelled. He hit Kakarot on the head with a cane. You are walking through the air. You must walk under the air. It went on for hours, then days. Kakarot stood in the circle. He concentrated. He sweated. He tried to push his kai into the air to rip it open. Nothing happened. You are thinking too much like a mortal, Wispy said. Mortals move from A to B. Demons move from A to Z to B. We cheat. You have to cheat physics, boy. Cheat physics, Kakarot mumbled. He thought about how he fought Shula. He didn't win by being stronger. He won by being crazy, by using the ape power. He closed his eyes again. He focused on his kai. He made it sharp. He made his aura jagged. He visualized a hole in the world. He stepped. For a split second the world turned grey. The sound stopped. Kakarot felt like he was being squeezed through a straw. He appeared 10 feet away. He fell to his knees and vomited. His head was spinning. His nose was bleeding. I did it, he gasped. Wispy clapped slowly. You moved 10 feet, and you almost stroked out. But yes, you did it. That was a baby step. Now do it again. 1,000 times. So Kakarot did it, again and again. He warped across the library. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Each time, it hurt less. Each time, he went further. He learned to control the nausea. He learned to see the seams in reality. After a week, he could teleport instantly behind a target. Good, Wispy said. You are a fast learner. Your Saiyan body adapts quickly to the stress. Now, the Demon Flash. This one was dangerous. You must mix your yellow kai with the purple magic in the air, Wispy explained. It is like mixing oil and water. If you do it wrong, it explodes in your face. Kakarot held out his hands. He brought up his Saiyan energy. It was bright and warm. Then he pulled in the cold energy of the temple. They touched in his palms. There was a spark, then a boom. Kakarot was thrown backward into a bookshelf. His hands were burned black. Smoke rose from his hair. Again, Wispy shouted. Kakarot got up. He healed fast. He tried again. Boom. Again. Boom. He did it for 3 days straight. His hands were raw. His skin was blistering. But he began to feel the balance. He had to be calm. He had to be cold and hot at the same time. He thought of the demon realm. The cold nights, the hot blood. He brought his hands together. He held the ball of energy. It swirled, yellow and purple. Then they merged. They became a deep, dark violet. It was stable. It hummed with a low sound. Demon Flash, Kakarot yelled. He fired the beam. It was not a wide beam like the Kamehameha. It was a thin, focused lance of energy. It hit a metal statue at the end of the room. The statue didn't explode. It just vanished. The beam disintegrated it completely. Kakarot lowered his hands. He stared at the empty space. The power was terrifying. Wispy nodded. Not bad. You have the tools now. But tools are useless if you don't know how to build a house or destroy one. Wispy floated up. You have learned the techniques, but you are still a boy. To leave this temple, you must defeat me. Kakarot looked up. Defeat a ghost? Wispy smiled. I am not just a ghost. I am the memory of a war god. Wispy's form changed. He grew larger. He grew muscles. He grew 6 arms. He summoned 6 weapons made of blue fire. Come, Kakarot. Show me you are a scion of the demon realm. Kakarot grinned. He cracked his neck. This is going to be fun. Kakarot vanished. He used Void Step. He appeared behind Wispy. He fired a ki blast. Wispy didn't turn. One of his 6 arms swung a sword backward and deflected the blast. Another arm threw a spear at Kakarot. Kakarot warped again. He appeared on the ceiling. He pushed off the stone and dove down. Ha! He punched Wispy in the face. His fist connected. It felt like hitting steel. Wispy didn't budge. You are too light, Wispy roared. He grabbed Kakarot with 2 arms and slammed him into the floor. The floor cracked. Kakarot coughed blood. Wispy raised all 6 weapons to impale him. Kakarot rolled away. Void Step. He appeared by the door. He was panting. He couldn't win by force. Wispy was infinite stamina. He was a ghost. I have to hit him with something that affects spirits, Kakarot thought. The Demon Flash. It used magic. Magic could hurt ghosts. But he needed time to charge it. Wispy wouldn't give him time. Kakarot looked at the shelves. He had an idea. He charged at Wispy. He yelled. Wispy prepared to block. But Kakarot didn't attack Wispy. He attacked the bookshelf next to him. He kicked the bottom of the giant metal shelf. The shelf tipped over. Tons of metal scrolls fell like a landslide on top of Wispy. Wispy was buried for a second. That is all I need, Kakarot said. He brought his hands together. He focused. He drew in the cold. He drew in the fire. The violet light screamed in his palms. He warped. Void Step. He appeared right on top of the pile of scrolls. Wispy was just breaking out. Eat this, Kakarot shouted. He fired the Demon Flash point blank into Wispy's face. The beam engulfed the ghost. Wispy screamed. The blue fire of his body turned purple. The beam pushed him down into the floor. The light was blinding. The whole temple shook. When the light faded, there was a deep hole in the floor. Wispy was floating there. He was small again. He was transparent. He was flickering like a dying light bulb. Kakarot stood on the edge of the hole. Smoke rose from his hands. Wispy looked up. He smiled weakly. Clever boy. You used the environment. You fought like a demon. Did I win? Kakarot asked. Yes, Wispy said. You passed the trial. You have mastered the basics. Wispy started to fade away. Go now. The demon realm is changing. I can feel it. A darkness is rising that even we fear. And your destiny is calling. What destiny? Kakarot asked. Wispy pointed a translucent finger at Kakarot's chest. The blood of the conqueror. Do not let it consume you. Control it, or you will destroy everything you love. Wispy vanished. The lights in the temple went out. The door creaked open. Kakarot walked out. He stood in the crater. The sandstorm had stopped. The air felt different. He felt different. He was stronger, much stronger. His power level had jumped. If he had a scouter, it would have read over 2,000. For a teenager, that was high. On Earth, he would be a god. But here, he was just a survivor. He looked at the horizon. He clenched his fist. The purple aura flared around him. It was natural now. I am coming for you, Dabura, he whispered. On Earth, Bulma was tied to a chair. She was in a dungeon. It was damp and smelly. Pilaf was standing on a crate, so he could be taller. Where is the Dragon Ball? Pilaf shouted. I told you, Bulma cried. I don't have it. I was looking for it. Pilaf growled. You are lying. Shu, torture her. Shu stepped forward. He held a feather. I will tickle her feet, Shu threatened. No, anything but that, Bulma screamed. Suddenly, the wall of the dungeon exploded. Boom! Pilaf, Mai, and Shu fell over. Dust filled the room. Who is it? Pilaf coughed. Is it the police? A figure stepped through the smoke. It was a man. He had long black hair. He had scars on his face. He wore an orange gi with a turtle symbol on it. Wait. No. It wasn't Goku. It was a bandit. He had long hair and a sword. It was Yamcha. He looked at Bulma. He looked at Pilaf. I heard an explosion, Yamcha said. He looked nervous. He was scared of girls. He saw Bulma and blushed. A girl, Yamcha stammered. Who are you? Bulma asked. Are you here to save me? I am the desert bandit Yamcha, and I am here to steal your treasures. Pilaf pointed at Yamcha. Mai, shoot him. Mai pulled out a pistol. She fired. Yamcha dodged. He moved fast. Wolfang fist. He struck Mai and Shu. They flew into the wall. Pilaf screamed and ran away. Yamcha stood there. He looked at Bulma. He held up his sword to cut her ropes. Don't think I am doing this for you, he said, trying to look cool. I just hate that little blue guy. He cut the ropes. Bulma stood up. She rubbed her wrists. She looked at Yamcha. He was handsome. Thank you, she said. She batted her eyelashes. Yamcha's face turned red. He panicked. You're welcome. Bye. He ran away. He ran right out of the hole in the wall. Poor, his floating cat chased after him. Wait for me, Yamcha. Bulma stood alone in the dungeon. She sighed. What a weird guy. But at least I am free. She walked out of the castle. She looked at the night sky. She saw the moon. It was full and bright. She touched her pocket. She had hidden the dragon radar in her underwear. Pilaf didn't find it. I have to find the balls, she said. I have to make a wish. I wish for a bodyguard. Someone strong. Someone who doesn't run away from girls. She didn't know it, but her wish was impossible. The only person who fit that description was currently eating the heart of a sand monster in another dimension. Episode 3. End. Next time on Saiyan of the Demon Realm. Kakarot encounters a village of enslaved demons and faces a moral choice. Rule them or free them. Meanwhile, King Cold arrives on Earth looking for the Dragon Balls to grant him eternal youth. And without the Z fighters, humanity is doomed. Kakarot senses the disturbance across the dimensions.